Hello everybody. Hope everybody's doing good. Been kind of busy, and those crews are starting to come in full force. Some of the rain, water is kind of residing a little bit, but it's still wet, muddy out there. So had some excitement yesterday, and I have to apologize. I probably talked about this thick wooded area that I walk up and down. I got a walking stick, got my phone, I'm trucking, I'm doing my walkthrough. And but I wasn't doing that yesterday. I was talking to some guys. We were waiting on a fuel truck. We were going to position the fuel truck, all this stuff. Just hanging out there for a little bit, trying to get them squared away. And I looked to the north down this two-lane farm market road, paved road. And I did not have my phone on me. And there was a boar that was over 3 foot tall. A big boar. There were two sows, not much shorter than he was. And there were about 15 piglets, little babies, running with those sows and that boar in the ditch, rooting a little bit, and then they were going to go what they looked like. They were got the thick wooded area over here. Then over here there's a real thick fence line, vegetation. And there's a plowed field over there. They must have planted something there previous year, because they looked like they were trying to get over there. Well, it's real thick. You have to go back towards us, and there's some openings back towards us. And I'm motioning to the guys, let's get your eye on these. I mean, if they come down this way, we gotta get in our trucks. So we were watching them, and I was concerned about the sows and the boar. Boar is territorial. Sows will take care of their kids. And so we were watching them. They were up and down the ditch a little bit, and then they go back on the other side of the highway, and little piglets just running around behind them. That was so exciting. And I just did not have my phone. And I apologize. And I'm sure I mentioned in the some previous videos back that I seen some hog tracks, looking for deer. There's deer track, hog tracks, look like some coyote, and some regular domestic dogs. And but that is food. And I told the project manager, and he said, that'd been some good eating, wouldn't it? I said, yeah, you better thank goodness I didn't have my rifle. He laughed. He said, yeah, I know we can't do that. And I said, I know that. But boy, so. And you got to be careful killing any game, during the warmer days. Now, it doesn't get a whole real cold here. So the problem you have is they'll have fleas, mites, things like that. So you have to be careful. And the only thing that I would take from a hog in warmer weather, it's not hot, it's just about 55, 60 degrees. So But even then, the only thing I would take from a hog is the back strap. Cut it off. That's where your pork chop come from. That's where your ribs come from. Usually you take your pork chop or steak, cut it down the back. You got an eye on your pork chop. Then the lower portion you can cut ribs. Or you can just take that and just cut it across and do bacon. And that's something else we need to watch. Don't have to, I mean, there's really no butcher shops here. There is a few, and there are some butcher shops around you. If you know them, you know, such, and if it's okay with the health department and city regulations and code and all this stuff, see if you can't watch them. You know, get dressed up in your smock, jacket, hairnet, all that stuff, and watch them. You know, and that way you can kind of get a sense of what, you know, different parts of the meat, pork chop, steak, bacon, you know, hams. That way you can kind of see how it's proportioned out. And you only got to watch a few times. And then you can watch some videos. I mean, there's plenty of YouTube videos on portioning meat, how to cut up game, how to cut, you know, and all that. So, but we need to learn that. But if you have to bug out, and it's a plan A, you know, plan A, plan B, whatever, destination 1, destination 2, you need to kind of scope it out and know where you're running to. Is there, you know, bodies of water or stream or creek, river? It's got fish. Is there some rabbits or squirrels, wild hog, deer, rabbits, all kinds of stuff, you know. It's fortunate in this part of Texas. There's everything. There's geese, there's duck, rabbits, squirrels, quail, dove, field otter, fish, deer, hog, wild hog. You just let, there's even crawfish. When it rains a lot, you know, in the ditches, they're just like little spots everywhere, crawfish. I don't know how big they are. If I had a way to catch a couple of them and just let them go, I'd just like to see how big they are, you know. And I may, right behind this trailer, there's some crawfish out here in this little low area ditch. So if I have time, I'm really pressed for time on doing things. I couldn't even get into a video yesterday. I mean, I went to bed 7:30 last night. So, but scope out your area that you plan on running to. It could be a mile down the road. It could be 100 miles down the road. I don't know where your destination points are. If it's around where you live, and you're fortunate, and I'm jealous, if you live in an area with abundant wildlife and vegetation, I am jealous. That's real good, but you need to see their patterns. Deer and wild game kind of follow a path, and generally it's a path of least resistance. You know, where they go. They go out and they feed during the day. And then usually end up close to a body of water. They drink and then they nest or rest at night, bed down. But you need to kind of just poke around and see what's going on, because that is going to be one of your main sources for food, for meat. So scope out, find out what's in your area, find out what resources you got. Is what kind of vegetation is there? There's a lot of dandelion, there's a lot of Yupon holly, lettuce, clover. Clover is good. And there are pecan trees, walnut, like that. Is there cattails? Cattail is the medical plant of nature. I think with cattail and dandelion, you can be one healthy individual and utilize that as one of your main sources in your diet. And it'll cure what ails you for the most part. Cattail is just real good. You know, you have to get it in like the sprouts. And those are kind of fresh and crisp, and so things like that. You can make flour out of the heads of them. You know, it's just a lot of benefits in certain vegetation. So you got to find out what's in your area. Are there fruit trees? There blackberries? Wild onions, wild garlic. I got onion and garlic in my backyard at the house, and it's in the city. I can go out there anytime I want, pick an onion, pick a garlic. And that garlic is just so, I mean, it smells so good. Whenever I weed eat, I'll clip some of the tops of the onion, clip some tops of the garlic. You know, and it's just like, oh man, yeah, I love that. So, scope out your area. Scope out a area that you might have to resort on and rely on for your meats and your vegetation. What kind of shrubbery, what kind of trees. There are pine trees, you can eat the inner bark of a pine tree. It's good. I've done that. You can make pine needle tea. I used to drink that all the time when down East Texas. I'd take them long green pine needles, two cuts, put it in the pot, let it steep, let it just simmer. Very good source of vitamin C and some other nutrients and things that's good for you. Dandelion root, you find that just about everywhere. That's just like a weed everywhere in the world. And the root, you gotta get down there to it, because you will not get it all if you don't. I've got a rod, I don't have it here, but it's a piece of pipe. It was an old gas line, and I think it was 3/8. And it is old steel. I mean, it hadn't given away yet. But I took a sawzall and I cut it a good little angle there. And then I just cut the end off. I didn't want it sharp. And then I could take that and just wiggle down in there all the way around that thing and pop up the whole thing. Knock dirt off back in the hole, shake it off. Then I got a good root. Then you wash it off, scrape it off, and use it for a tea. The flower, the leaves, you can eat them right where they sit. I've gone around, pick up dandelion flower and eat them. People say, "What are you doing, man? You gonna die, man." I said, "Been doing that for years. Ain't died yet." So it's a good salad. Always wash whatever you collect, your wild edibles, always wash them off. And look for signs of, wild animals and mice and stuff, Look for droppings, look for different coloration in the leaves and texture of the surrounding wild edibles. Because a coyote or a dog or something might come by and just peed on one of them. So you really got to look close. And always wash them off. As far as game goes, you've got to get, like if it's real hot, don't try to process the whole thing. Unless you can take it, field dress it. You gotta let it bleed out, field dress it, and get it to a cold area, a cold room. And then you're taking the chance. Like I say, there's usually fleas, mites, ticks. It could be anything on wild animal, during the warmer days. So you gotta be careful and look at that over. But I mean, like if I were to get a wild hog, and it 60, 70 degrees or hotter, first thing I'd do is bleed it out. I would scrape the back portion to scrape off anything that was there with my machete. And then I would take my knife, my pocket knife, cut, and then just both sides, dig down, and then you can just peel it off. And then I would get that thing either cooked right then or iced down. It's very crucial that you do it quickly and cook it real good. Cook it. There ain't no medium well, there ain't no rare. You cook it. I don't care unless you go to a grocery store and you buy your ribeye or a T-bone. You can cook it however you want to. When it comes to wild game, I'm telling you, you better cook it all the way. It's got to be done. No little bit of paint, nothing, no. I want a little bit of money. No, you got to cook it all the way, or you'll get sick and you could die. That's just it. And one thing you cannot do in a bug out situation is get sick. I'm telling you, don't do that. And if you do, don't be commenting, say, "Well, yeah, and I don't want to hear it." Cook it all the way through, but cook it quick. So, a lot of things like that. Birds, fish, fowl, whatever. Cook it. Now, if it's freezing, below freezing, been below freezing for a little while, you got a little bit of time. Because rabbits mainly, and sometimes squirrels. I've actually seen this squirrel, kind of blew my mind, to have wolves. They're little, like worm-looking things between their coat and their underneath their skin and the meat. And what they do is just like they just you'll see it where they irritated the muscle, between the skin and the muscle, and you'll feel them. And it ain't no big, big, but I mean, you will notice it. You'll notice the little lumps. And during the winter, and then the first couple of frosts of the year, they go away. They're gone. And then you get your meat, you process your meat, field dress it, whatever you do out there in the field. You won't even know if they ever had any. But you gotta let it, I like it cold, because then you can let it bleed out, dress it out, clean it, dress it, skin it, and then take your sticks and open up the cavity while you're hauling it off, let it hang off your back or whatever, and let the air it out, and that takes some of the game taste out of it. Not all of it, but it'll take a lot of the game out of it. Wild hog, if it's freezing and it's cold, the best thing to do, like I say, is always let them bleed out. The quicker you let them bleed out, cut the jugular and let them bleed out, you'll find that the meat is not as tough as you would if you didn't bleed out. Noticeable, yeah. Only someone that's done that for a while will notice that, and they'll tell you that. The best thing to do is let it bleed out. Get you some sticks ready. When you open up the cavity, clean it out. Clean your hands often as you can. Get them sticks in the cavity and let that cold air get in there. And that gets the meat to where it stays cold. And then quarter it out. Hind quarter, that's where you get your hams and stuff. Then you gotta start skinning and roll that skin away. Always like a hog. There's some people now, I just boil and scrape it. I tried that one time and it sucked. So usually whenever we field dress them out in the back 40, when we'd hunt them on these farmers trying to cut down on the numbers, they just said, hey, take them out to that back pasture back there where I throw my trash, not trash, but old wood and stuff. They'd say, if you would clean them out there and just throw it out there, and the coyotes and the wolves and the buzzards, they'll get it, Now, that's what we did. We respected it. But we would roll that back on one side, and we would quarter skin one side front, get all that side done. And by the time we got to the other side, all we had to do is flip it over. We about had half the carcass cut and just take off the rest of the hide. Now, hog is hard as heck. It ain't no easy chore. It takes two people. I've done one by myself. Let me repeat that. I've done one by myself. And it was a son of a buck. He was 440 pounds. Wild boar. And I did it by myself one time. But anyway. But I'm just talking about wild game, survival, wild edible, things like that. So check your areas out, look for signs, look for prints, look for, dung, whatever, poop, whatever you want to call it. and check it out. How fresh is the stuff? How fresh is their poop? You gotta check that out. You have a little stick, you know, if it's real easy to mash, and you know, you can figure it's maybe a day or two old. If it's real fresh and it just mashes and it doesn't break, then it's pretty fresh. And whatever you're sitting there scoping out, you better hope it ain't gonna come after you. So my big concern was that those things, that boar and them two sows with them little ones, you don't even have to, if they come around you and one of them little piglets screams or squalls, it's on. You better get somewhere fast, because they're coming to get you. I've been chased by them, and I won't tell you, I ran faster than anybody's ever run in this earth. So, man, I shot in the brush, and I hit the hind end of actually, he was probably about 30 pounds. He's a pretty good sized little piglet. That thing got to squalling, boy, I'm just like a boom, 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 coming out of that woodwork. And wham, fast. I mean, dig, boy, I took off on it. That was, we laugh about it now, but that old boy, Sumter was his name. Bob, come on, come, hurry. I'm hurrying as fast as I can, man. I come up and back that truck, and that sonbuck hit that back wheel, and they rocked the truck. But they don't play. And then I told that old boy, I said, take off, go, hitting top of the truck, go. But they will charge you, so be careful. They're territorial, especially when they got little ones. They'll come after you, and they ain't no stop. That ain't gonna work. They gonna keep on coming. If you can get up high, you go 1.5 the length of the hog, and you're safe. Now, if you're trying to hunt them, and you know they're active during the day, like down where I seen yesterday, what I would have done is get up, there's 100,000 trees up in there. I mean, it's thick. I would work on a spot up in the tree, kind of like make a makeshift tree stand. And I would be up there, and they walk all the way around you, as long as they don't smell you too much, you know. They'll walk all around and stuff. And they can't look up. So, and they can look up a little bit, but they can't look up. So, and I'd pop one right there, and all the rest of them, they run off as soon as you hear a shot, so you better get a good shot. So I've done that before down there in North Texas. A lot of fun. Anyway, I've talked about it. You heard what I had to say about wild game, wild edibles. Hope you have a good night, and hopefully I can get some video. I had my phone today, and I'm ready for them to come out. Like, come on, here, piggy, here, piggy. You know, they ain't come. Good night, everybody. Hope you're doing good. Watch good things, read good things before you go to bed. Good night.